Kevin Stefanski made a comment yesterday to SiriusXM NFL Radio about his offensive system. We're going to play that, and then I have a question to follow up with.
Okay.
When you win 3 games, you didn't do much very well. So we're looking at everything. And certainly, you talk about the quarterback position is important when it comes to winning and losing. We get that. We've had different guys that we've won with. So we believe in our system and that a system that's going to adapt to our best players. And certainly you're thinking about the quarterback position when it comes to that. But for us right now, it's about putting the system in with Tommy Rees and this offensive staff and making sure that it's adaptable to whomever we got out there at all of those spots.
See, Kevin Stefanski believes in his offensive system. Do you?
I mean, that ain't for once. I mean, it don't matter what I think. It's about the results. Like if like he said, he got 3 wins. Obviously, that's not good enough. Like so, I think that a lot of times it's like, do you believe? I already told y'all. This year, y'all not getting that OG Bush. I gotta see it, bro. I'm not prognosticating. You rewind the tape. When it comes to these, how many yards is this fair? No. I need to see it first. It sound great. It sound good, Kev. I hope it work out for you. Like I said, when it comes to the draft, I can't even have no problem. Whatever you want to do and however you want to move, just make it work. So if this is your new offense or the old offense or the mixed offense, just make it work. Listen, I like the fact that he's being more upfront about what his thoughts are. It's glad to see him mention it and talking about his offense. Everything's not G14 classified. So, hey, look, I don't know what you're going to run. Might be the old stuff, might be the new stuff. Just make it work, man.
You have seen his offense last year, not this year, last year. That's what they're going back to.
In the years prior.
Yeah. So
it's not exactly the same every year.
No,
but
it's the basic principle.
Yeah. Right.
Run the ball.
I think people are confused by that.
Run the ball, play action, boots, hit the tight ends on the over route. But you're going under center and you're working from under center.
Okay, that's great. But he needs some more sauce on that. It can't be that playbook that they had with Houston. They got blown out that game.
So I think that the reason being is you get a young offensive mind like a Tommy Rees in there that comes in there and gives you some of that and changes up things. I think you learned a little bit from Ken Dorsey because whether you liked it or not.
You learned what not to do.
Yeah, but whether you liked it or not, he got a guy like Jerry Jeudy open, and Jerry Jeudy made plays, so you got to see some explosiveness there. So now okay, now I can scheme up some things because he's explosive enough to do these routes. So I think you helped with those concepts there. But do I believe in his offensive system? Yeah, I think the offense that Kevin runs is a very good one because it's very similar to San Francisco. It's very similar to Sean McVay. It's very similar to the Minnesota Vikings. They all run the Green Bay Packers. Everybody runs that under center play action boot thing and got some shotgun off of it. So for me to sit there and say that offense is not successful, San Fran was just in the Super Bowl last year. The Rams was just in the playoffs. The Vikings was just in the playoffs. So it works. You got to have the right guys. You got to have the right quarterback that can run those things. Can the quarterback read the defense and be on the same page and see exactly what Kevin wants them to see? I think, to be honest with you, I was sitting as I was driving up here and I was thinking about this question. I was thinking to myself, because everybody's talking about Shador, Cam, Jalen. Which one would you take out of those 3? And I started thinking to myself, like, okay, who has been Kevin Stefanski's most successful quarterback with the Cleveland Browns? Who have you looked at and been like, you know what, he's done the best job with the Browns?
Flacco. I think it's Flacco.
Okay, and what did Flacco have? He had the big arm and he had the experience. So if you think it's...
clarify that question. You're saying that the quarterback played his best football with Kevin, or Kevin did the best job with the quarterback?
No, what quarterback for the Cleveland Browns under Kevin Stefanski did the best on Sundays?
When did the team look the best?
Yes.
Oh.
Under Baker, 2020?
I would say Baker in 2020, yeah, I agree.
I think it was Joe last year.
Joe threw 1 million picks. We ignored it because they were winning.
I'm going to... We don't have time to get into this because we got David coming on in 4 minutes. I've got a story coming out tomorrow that's fascinating. I'm going to pump myself
up. Look at that.
That is what we call
We'll talk about it on the show.
Let me just say this real quick. I know Jay was apparently all hot and bothered about Kirk Cousins. I'm going to tell you something that nobody wants to hear, but this is the truth. The veteran quarterback that the Browns signed this year is irrelevant. There's no veteran quarterback. The goal is to win the Super Bowl, right? That's the goal.
Yep.
There's no quarterback the Browns can add this year that they're going to win the Super Bowl next year. None. Nobody, zilch. Now, if they draft a quarterback
what if
high,
it was Tom Brady,
and that quarterback turns out to be Tom Brady, then maybe in a few years they can win the Super Bowl. The Browns will not win the Super Bowl next year. They don't have the quarterback. It is essentially impossible. So debating Kirk Cousins versus Joe Flacco versus Andy Dalton versus this is the stupidest thing ever, and we shouldn't do it at all. All that matters for the veteran is how they're going to work with the young guy. That's it, or that they can play competent football. Kirk Cousins, to me, is clearly shot. But if he can work with a young quarterback, I don't care.
Did you think Joe Flacco was shot?
No.
Yeah, I thought he was. He played well for 10 seconds.
And then he got shot.
And then he turned into a pumpkin.
He didn't play well last year.
And by the way, if Kirk Cousins, if Joe Flacco had played the whole season last year, they wouldn't have won 12 games. You know it. I know it. Everybody else knows
I'm just saying.
And you can't win that way.
Well,
it's not sustainable. And even if you have a season like you did with Sam Darnold, you fall on your face when it matters.
Yeah.
In the AFC,
What does this have to do with
He's cooking. He's cooking right now.
He's cooking,
because
I didn't even finish my point.
Oh, you did? Okay.
he put all the seasoning on too
He
late.
did.
Meals done.
He done went so deep that he got me thinking like, what did I? Yeah,
What was I talking about? Yeah.
Pause. He got me thinking like, what did I say that I didn't even remember what my point was. My point was, I was talking about the quarterback play,
right?
And I was talking about that. I was talking about what quarterback was the most successful, and I came up with the two names of Joe and Baker.
Yeah,
and I thought to myself, well, when you look at this draft, because I'm not going off of the veterans either. Yeah. That's irrelevant to me. I'm going off of Cam and Shador.
Yes,
and I was laughing because I said, well, Shador probably reminds me the most of Baker, to where Cam reminds me the most of Joe Flacco. Because of the arm talent and things like that.
I think the reason I went down that road is because I think there's this thought from some people that Kevin Stefanski can have great success with any quarterback. That's not true. No quarterback can do that, and no coach can do that. And most importantly, you can't win in the playoffs with an average or worse quarterback. I don't care what system you have. I don't care what you cannot win in this NFL with an average or below quarterback.
That's exactly what I got coming out tomorrow.
Yeah.
Turnovers are not as punitive as we think
so
they are.
overrated. Yeah, go ahead.
It used to be the standard of if you win the turnover battle, you win the game. That's not true anymore. This stat that it's coming out now, and we're gonna hear more about it. EPA per dropback, I think, is the most predictive stat of success. It's incredible how accurate it is in determining wins and losses. It really is.
I kind of believe you, but Tony Grossi laughed at it. So.
the three worst teams, the Browns, Cavs. The Browns got the worst quarterback play last year.
Yeah.
It's not even close. And the three worst teams last year in EPA per dropback are the three teams at the top of the draft. Yeah. And you can get there with average quarterback play. You cannot win in the playoffs. It comes down to the playoffs. Come down to does your quarterback beat their quarterback every time he drops back to pass? That's what it comes. And the numbers support all of this. Yeah. You can lose the turnover battle, but if your quarterback wins the EPA dropback differential, you will win the game. We saw it with Buffalo, Kansas City. Buffalo won the turnover battle. They lost the game because Mahomes had statistically a top 10 performance of his career on Sunday. Now yes. It was top 10 of his career. And depending on which metric you look at, it may have been the second best performance.
We've seen it. We watched the teams in the playoffs. Russell Wilson, Sam Darnold. Yeah,
can't win with those quarterbacks.
That was window dressing.
You can't win.
I was like, I was completely out. I saw where Sam Darnold was looking. His coach was on the sideline like, wow, he just turned right back into a pumpkin.
Yeah, why do you think he said, well, we're going to play J.J. McCarthy? Because J.J. McCarthy might be a great quarterback.
Right.
Not. You know Sam Darnold's not. Sam Darnold's fine.
And, Bull, I think and look, I think some people are just literally they've been screwed so much when it comes to the quarterback play. When you're arguing over Colt McCoy and Johnny Manziel and Brady Quinn and Derek Anderson and you get to Watson and Flacco. When you start dealing with that, they just at that point don't even want to deal or think about quarterback. It's not that these guys think that Abdul Carter is great or Travis Hunter is a better move. It's you don't want to take a quarterback and have to face whether he's good or not. And that's just part of the game.
Instead, you'd rather have a 37-year-old washed up, non-mobile quarterback coming off his worst season of his career. I don't know why anybody would want Kirk Cousins. It's like, well, Joe Flacco played well for 8 seconds, so maybe Kirk Cousins
It's a
will do
safe
the same.
zone.
I mean,
It's a safe zone.
Last thing. If you win the turnover battle, but your quarterback loses the head-to-head, you're under 500.
Not a surprise. When is this article coming out tomorrow?
Dang.
All right.
He
It'll
dealing
be
with
out in
Trump
time
cards.
for us to break it down on the show, Jason.
What's that?
Is it going to be out in time for UCSS?
Yeah, I think it's coming. Like the Times is playing it up, so it should be out like 6, 7 a.m.
All right, man.
Well, we will discuss that in
6
depth
a.m.
tomorrow. Jason sent me the
It's
list of
scheduled to go
quarterbacks
out.
in terms of their ranking of EPA per dropback, and it confirms something that I had thought previously, which plays into the Browns draft situation, which I'm going to tell Jason after the show.